So happy Pi Day, everyone. My name is Culp. I'm a student at a local project-based software engineering intensive, Halbert in Tulsa. Just started coding about a year ago and trying to break my way back into the Tulsa tech scene. While I'm currently specializing in machine learning and analytics, I'm super passionate about cryptocurrencies. My entire net worth is invested in the space, and I've converted my living room into a mining farm with 24 graphics cards. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me for any reason. You can find my information on my website at ianculp.tech. So the Pi Network is a peer-to-peer digital currency that you can start mining without needing any money, expensive equipment, or vast amounts of energy to get started. So normally to get started investing in crypto, you need to join an exchange and verify your identity, not to mention needing money to invest. So Pi is a great way to start without money or equipment. They also provide a pretty good intro into the space and along with its history. However, going beyond simply investing, by the end of this talk, I hope to give you an idea why you should be excited about the industry beyond just as digital forms of cash or as speculative investments, but instead as the evolution of the internet and the foundation for Web 3.0. So how does it work? It's kind of like a spreadsheet in the sky, or a database that exists across the entire network. Everybody has a copy, and changes must be agreed upon by everyone through fancy math and consensus algorithms. So it started initially with Bitcoin, which acted as the first proof of concept for this kind of technology and continues to dominate and lead the market. The idea was to create a protocol or a set of rules for the internet to be able to store value and transmit that value securely in a peer-to-peer fashion without a central intermediary. So sometimes it's referred to as the Internet of Money or the Internet of Value. Its use cases extend well beyond digital money and can include digital identities, digital assets, digital governance to help create true democratization, and can help us to solve the problem of digital scarcity. So to oversimplify, transactions get stored on a blockchain in an immutable fashion. So the records can never be altered or destroyed. It's like an append-only database. Records can only be added, but they can never be deleted or altered. So in permissionless systems, transactions get added to the blockchain through a process of decentralized consensus. This is the truly revolutionary aspect of cryptocurrencies. The token, or the cryptocurrency, incentivizes participation and helps to secure the network. So there's a bunch of different types of blockchains. You've got public and private, permission and permissionless, with variations within each category. But whenever we're talking about cryptocurrencies, we're specifically talking about public, permissionless blockchains. Permissionless public blockchains achieve this without requiring a central authority to act as an intermediary. So the main revolution is the decentralized nature of these networks, without relying on a central authority to act as a trusted intermediary. Instead, the trust is created through math and fancy algorithms. The cryptocurrency token itself represents the utility or security token for a specific blockchain network, which is how you pay for access to the network to benefit from its features. It's also what incentivizes participation in the network as a node or validator, which helps to ensure its resiliency and longevity as well as its security. So it goes well more than just a simple data structure. Permissionless blockchains are at the intersection of many fields: networking, cryptography, distributed systems, economics, psychology, game theory, organizational governance, security, and so many more. All of these different fields intersect to create these permissionless blockchain networks, which come together to create truly resilient, secure, and scalable networks without central authorities. Instead, they're open and decentralized, just like the original internet was intended to be. I believe many industries will be rebuilt from the ground up using first principles thinking to rebuild analog processes that rely on central authorities and convert them into decentralized applications. These new networks will build the new internet of value. So speaking of the internet, you can think of the internet as being built in layers, with many components interacting together to provide the foundations for us to build killer applications on top of. The 7-layered model is just a useful paradigm for understanding the relations among these different components. Similarly, it can be useful to think about how blockchain networks will work in layers to provide the infrastructure for new applications to be built on top of. These are the foundational layers for Web 3.0. Don't worry if you don't know what TCP/IP is or understand this diagram. Just understand that it's a fundamental piece of the internet. Communications over the internet would not function without it. Just as the TCP/IP-based internet led to a revolution in the way that businesses functioned, blockchain protocols are repeating the same process. Some say it's like watching the birth of the internet all over again, but I like to just think of it as the natural evolution of the internet. These protocols differ as TCP/IP is a communications protocol, while blockchains are value exchange protocols. Try not to let these diagrams scare you again. I'm just trying to make a point about layers. So just as the internet can be thought of in layers, so will blockchain networks exist in layers to create thriving ecosystems of functionality. Many of these blockchain networks will act as base layers for others to be built on top of. Ethereum happens to be the most advanced blockchain network with more projects and applications developed on top of it and its layered solutions than any other network or ecosystem. Bitcoin happens to be the most secure, but it's very conservative in its development, and so progress can be very slow. Many different projects make compromises in various aspects of what's called the Decentralization Trilemma, but some projects believe that holding true to certain principles are more important than quick scaling solutions. So this is the Decentralization Trilemma. Think of it as hiring a contractor. You can have good quality, cheap, and fast, but it's hard to find all three. Similarly, with blockchain development, with permissionless systems, it's hard to find all three of these at the same time. So Ethereum and Bitcoin take the hard line on decentralization and security, with Bitcoin being the most secure. But every project is essentially trying to find that sweet spot in the center. So why are there so many different projects? Many are vying to solve the same problems, but in different ways. And they're making different compromises to do so along the different axes of this triangle. There's going to be many winners along different issues and different problem sets. However, there's also going to be many projects that disappear over time. So one of the primary benefits of these networks is the ability to give control back to the users. Rather than a central authority hosting and maintaining databases, and thus owning and controlling the data and the privacy of the users, Web 3.0 will rely on decentralized data banks that the users own and control. So the internet is just a reflection of the interactions among people and the collective ability to solve problems with the leverage that technology provides. Web 3.0 is just the natural evolution of that, more user-centric, collectively owned, and securely connected. The internet will be fully connected with IoT devices, enhanced with virtual worlds and realities, accessed and interacted with AR/VR technology, and integrated with artificial intelligence. They will all run on blockchains and decentralized free markets. Cryptocurrencies provide a foundation for this next phase that we're moving towards. And I see cryptocurrencies as Web 3.0 and Web 3.0 as synonymous. Lots of people thought that the internet was ridiculous, in the 80s and the early 90s. It had so many problems, scalability issues, security issues. It took decades to develop and build out the infrastructure and reach a critical mass of adoption. It started in the 70s and it took until the late 90s before it really started taking off. Even after it was well established, many said the internet was dead after the dot-com bubble popped in 2001. The crypto space has gone through similar waves of hype and despair, but building a new infrastructure takes time. According to Gartner, one of the leading research firms in the world, the blockchain industry will become mature by 2025. Many industries will just migrate to this new infrastructure. They'll call it an infrastructure inversion, just like when phone lines were replaced by voice over IP. These are just a few of the current projects and companies using blockchain technology to solve problems across so many different industries. This is just a small slice, and it's only the beginning. So coming back to the Pi network, I think it's a great introduction to cryptocurrencies and understanding the history and the landscape of the industry. You can download the app and start learning while earning without needing any money to buy anything. And Pi's vision regarding inclusion and peer-to-peer interaction is reflective of the industry as a whole, as well as the original intention of Satoshi Nakamoto when he created Bitcoin. Their white paper is well laid out and easy to read. It gives a great introduction to blockchains and the benefits of decentralized consensus, which is disintermediation. It aligns with early internet ideals to be open, accessible, and egalitarian. It lays out some of the history of the space and explains some very interesting concepts that blockchains will enable, such as allowing us to monetize our time online. If you found any of this interesting at all, I invite you to check out the Pi Network by downloading the app at minepi.com. You may need to use an invite code. You're welcome to use mine, but feel free to see if your friends have the app. They'll earn more if you use their code. Ethereum is one of the leaders in the space with the most developer support out of anything on the market currently. They're probably the best place to start if you're really interested. Also, the Bitcoin white paper is surprisingly short and easy to read. It's only 8 pages, and I think it's understandable for non-technical people. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation and are as excited about cryptocurrencies as I am. Happy Pi Day.